Welcome to episode 125 of the Epic Fail podcast. Before we get things started tonight, just wanted to give a special shout out to those who have allowed us to fail all this time. Number one, our catastrophic fail, Norman the Turtle. Epic fail, Greg. Our deliberate fails, Joseph, David, Mickey, Cuddles, and Flash Goth. Our Twitch subscribers, Draven, Jamie Joy, Galv, and Gang Theory. Thank you so much for letting us fail.
Warning, this show may contain mature language and is not suitable for small children, pets, or blood elves.
You're now listening to the Epic Fail podcast.
Hello, everybody!
That hurt. Note to self, don't do that without vocally stretching. Welcome to Epic Fail 125, and just like you, Theory, holy crap, that is strange. I am Draven Dresden. With me, as always, co-hosts, victims, refugees, whatever you want to call them. Fail train going on and on and on and on. We'll start with first from the Not a Real Country Anyway. Scarlett, how are you doing and what have you been up to anyway?
Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. We're a country. So I've been playing a lot of Diablo again. I like a lot of Diablo. And that's kind of fun. Also, my computer's a piece of poo and won't let me raid if we have like a lot of people because my FPS went down to like 6 on Kil'jaeden Heroic, and I had to step out because standing in front of Felclaws when you don't know that is really bad for progression. Just not even progression, because we had killed it, so it wasn't progression. It's just bad for being a tank. But I did something kind of crazy today. Guess what I did?
What did you do?
No.
I played hooky from work. So there was that.
No, you were sick earlier and you had just happened to be feeling better now.
Well, I legit was sick because I was having a panic attack because work. Anyways, so I phoned my sister and she's like, well, I'm bored with the baby. Do you want to go for brunch? And I was like, okay. So we went for brunch and that was delicious. But then, not that far away from where the brunch was, I realized there was a fireside gathering for the new hero. So I went to a fireside gathering. It's this place downtown that it's an esports bar, which really is just a bar with a lot of computers, and it's like an internet cafe but with alcohol. And there was a ton of people there. There was probably a good 50 people at least. Theory has their information that he's going to put up. They're called the Toronto Esports Club. So that was kind of cool. And I played, you have to play the special tavern brawl, and I didn't realize it, but it's a special tavern brawl. It's legit a different tavern brawl than normal. And you play it, and you get the new Warlock hero. If you play 3 games against 3 different people, you get the card back. So I did that. So I have the card back, the Fireside Gathering card back, and I have the new Warlock hero, which is really cool. So that was kind of fun. I've been farming the Halloween mount on all 12 of my characters. That so far is 0 luck I still have like 4 to do after the podcast. But yeah, that's been about my week in gaming. What about yours or theories?
Well, we'll get to theory in just a second, but I just want to say I had to destroy a mount earlier last night.
The Halloween mount?
Oh, jeez.
I thought you didn't have it. Did you get 2 of them?
No, I've had it for a long time. That was the mount that I used to sell runs to because it dropped so often for me back in Wrath.
You need to stop rubbing that in. People are going to stop paying attention to us because you rubbing it in so much. You two with your
There are other mounts that I still don't have, so they can deal with me being lucky on a mount. But Theory, what have you been up to this week? I heard you found your name on a sign somewhere, and it wasn't even a wanted poster.
Theories fail of the day.
I keep trying to turn it down because the dogs will not shut up. Sorry. So this morning, and partially the reason that we did not actually do the show on Friday this week, I was doing a breast cancer awareness walk for the American Cancer Society. And one of the sponsors of this event had signs up along the way, as you can see here, if you're watching the video. So I had to take a quick little selfie while we were on the walk with the sign. I don't know. I enjoyed that. But yeah, my legs are sore. That was a lot of walking in a short amount of time. But then we went to brunch to this place called Mimosas of Naples, and I did not drink, even though it was tempting, because they had like 30 different types of mimosas, which I didn't even know existed. But we had a big breakfast. It was great. And then I took a big nap because, yeah, I was tired. But this week in gaming, I've kind of taken a raid break because of my new schedule with work and everything. I had to kind of step away, which we talked about last week. And I haven't started up the new Sunday night team yet. So I'm kind of enjoying this time. I'm still playing WoW. I haven't stopped playing the game or anything like that. I'm just not really on a normal every week raid team at the moment. Kind of just waiting to get the other one going. But played a lot. Still did a bunch of different things. I'm considering switching over permanently, if that could even be such a thing, to DK because I can do Frost and I can do Tank. Everyone who knows me is immediately laughing because I will probably never ever stick to one character, but that's kind of what I've been playing a lot since I stopped raiding. So we'll see what happens with that. Excited about BlizzCon coming up, excited about all the other stuff that we're going to talk about today. That's pretty much it. What about you, Draven?
Well, my week has consisted of, I'll just start, we got killed Jaden on the last pool of the night. That night, Scarlet, no, we didn't kill him that night, that you had to leave, so you can still come back and help us do that.
Maybe,
maybe, if your computer will let you. But Tuesday this week, Junkrat came out in Heroes, and I may have leveled him to like 5 or 6 or 7 before I did anything else the rest of the day. So I played him quite a bit. Sadly,
Weren't you supposed to tell Theory when that happened?
I did.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I told him in like this next Tuesday, and then he went because he asked over the weekend.
He did not, however, give me a reminder that it had
you
happened.
Did not ask.
He told me ahead of time when it was happening, ish.
You did not.
And then he didn't tell me when it
reminder?
happened. Damn it.
I was not asked for a reminder, therefore I'm still right. Other than that, a lot of Junkenstein, which also includes a lot of Junkrat. And yeah, doing my dailies in WoW and all the other games, all that fun stuff. I've been really tempted to load into Diablo or StarCraft recently.
Diablo, do it.
If I do Diablo, I knew the season was ending, so I was like, you know what, I'll just wait for the season to end, and then I can
do regular. I've been just doing regular, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I plan on it. It was just one of those things. Like, if the season's actually going, I'm gonna want to go into the season just cause, blah 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 blah. So I just waiting and all that fun stuff. Plus, I'm gonna have some time over. We're gonna have some time over BlizzCon week and stuff like that because we don't really know what's going on, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, all that. So I got plenty of time for whatever. But yeah, that's been my week, unless you want to count something that happened earlier today.
Yes.
Well,
what
that is
happened?
part of the week.
Yeah. So a lot of podcasts, we were not lucky enough to get them, but a lot of podcasts and streamers and stuff got the virtual ticket codes. Like, here's a string of numbers and letters, usual redeem code thing that you go and all that for the virtual ticket for BlizzCon. And I'm like, if I can win one, I can actually watch it while it's happening, because the way everything's working out, it just wasn't going to happen any other way. So one of the ones I was watching had a thing. He's like, just type this word in, and whoever gets it gets it. And he had like 15 codes, something like that. He gave away 3 at a time. I got the next to last code.
Nice.
And I instantly copy, boom, congrats, you have virtual ticket. I'm like, yeah. So I said thank you, and I sent him what little amount of money I already had into bits. I was like,
So
I was going to do it anyway, but
which streamer was it?
it's Kyle Ferguson. He was doing Heroes. It was him and Scott Johnson, John Jagger. Basically, it was a couple of Heroes podcasts. The hosts get together and they just play goofy games in Team League and stuff.
Very cool.
That's what they were doing today.
That is cool.
So he was giving them out. A whole lot of people won, and I was just like, I just happened to win, and I was like, but I never win. I'm always in queue. I mean, I'm just glad he didn't realize that I was supposed to be in queue and not win. So I get the 2 mounts now, and WoW. I got the hero stuff, the StarCrafts, all this other fun stuff, and whatever Hearthstone thing that I'm never gonna see.
What 2 mounts?
The Alliance and the Horde.
Yeah,
Oh, right. Okay, sorry.
Because I actually, play both sides of the faction line.
Ew.
there's nothing wrong with being a little horde curious.
I have
Which,
I have way more Horde characters than I have Alliance characters. I just happen to play my one Alliance character a whole lot more.
my horde DK, which I've been leveling pretty much exclusively. Did I say DK? Demon Hunter. Exclusively with invasions is like 106 now. But it's on our podcast friends server. So if I actually do cap that one, that's probably where I will put it. Imagine I will at this point. It's like 2 more invasions and it'll be 110. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see the other side of the storylines. They have different cities that you fly to and things. There's a lot you miss if you only play one side.
That's true, but still.
Plus, people don't make fun of you for being really short if you're a goblin, like they do with a gnome.
Really? Why?
Because it's just
They're still really
they just
short.
don't. They are
That-
really short. It's really weird. It's
Doesn't
just
make
people
any
don't
sense.
care. They just don't care because they're a goblin.
Yeah, it's horde bias. You ready to get this thing going?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get going.
All right, so we're going to start off with some Blizzard news.
This is the Blizzard news you can use.
Okay, first up this week, we're going to talk about some money. Apparently, Scarlett's going to have to play some more. Pay some more to play some more? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So, what's the deal here?
So, basically, you know how Europe pays in euros, not dollars? Well, now Canadians will be paying in Canadian dollars with our own currency based on the exchange rate, which, if I paid still pre-authorized, that might work out better, because right now if I do pre-authorized, it charges me like $21 depending on what the exchange rate is for that. But if I buy the prepaid cards, it's still $15 because it's only $30 for 2 months still. So first of all, I don't actually know if the prepaid cards exist in the town I'm going to live in, because I just don't know if that's a thing. So I may have to go on pre-authorized, and if so, it may work out a little better. It may not. I honestly have no idea.
2 questions about that. Number one, the taxation of those are kind of weird to me. So explain the taxation. And then number two, don't you have something like Amazon that's local in Canada that you could order the cards shipped to you in Canada and not have to pay those crazy taxes?
I guess I never thought you could buy Blizzard prepaid cards on Amazon.
Yes, you definitely can. Just like you can in a store here. People sell them and ship them.
Yeah, but I would still pay shipping on it, so that would still work out. And the other thing isn't taxes, it's exchange rate. So basically, if I buy something that's 15 American dollars, my bank pulls out of my bank account the equivalent in Canadian dollars to make 15 American. So when the dollar's fluctuating, that's usually around $20 Canadian that I get charged.
It'll be interesting to see how they do that. Like if it'll actually end up being the same.
I'm wondering, I imagine it'll probably be because everything Canadian is like, it's always more expensive Canadian dollar wise. Like a book, if you buy a paperback book, say at the like airport or something, it's usually like $7.99 American or $12.99 Canadian. So I'm imagining the Blizzard thing will be like $17, $18 or so, which for pre-authorized people will work out a little cheaper, but I don't know.
But if it's available in your local currency, wouldn't it then not be, you wouldn't have to pay an exchange rate? Wouldn't you be paying?
Exactly, that's what I'm
So
saying.
it might
but
end up being cheaper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Very cool.
But it won't be $15 because like the euro and whatever, it's not equivalent. It's not exactly 15 euros, etc. So I don't know what it's going to cost, but it may actually help.
My question, if you bought a WoW token with gold, do you have to pay extra gold because it's worth more money?
Somehow I'm thinking no.
I doubt that.
It was a joke, Scarlett.
On the other side, would you get 15 Canadian if you buy a WoW token in your BlizzardNet balance, or would you get 15 American in your BattleNet
I would
balance?
imagine you'd get a 1 month, whatever one month
whatever
No.
the 1
turn
month
into.
is at that point.
Yeah, because right now
Oh,
you
yeah,
get you get the $14.99 American, which is 1 month. I would
Right,
imagine that if you're in Canada or Japan, New Zealand, wherever they're messing with this, you'll get whatever the equivalent of what you would have to pay for 1 month.
That's
Just so
true. That's true.
it's universal. You get it's worth 1 month.
So while we're on the subject of money, there is more money changes coming. Apparently, somebody stumbled on a patent that Blizzard did
Well,
for
to clarify,
microtransactions.
it's not Blizzard, it's Activision patented this.
Yeah, it's all Activision, not just Activision Blizzard.
So the article that I was reading states it could apply to WoW, probably will apply to Hearthstone, and probably Call of Duty.
So for people who didn't read the article, I don't understand how a microtransaction would change your matchmaking. How is this actually changing?
So they gave an example, and it was basically, let's say you're a free to play player and you've never played something, and like you've never paid for something, and if you can get, say, people who you can pay a couple dollars and get like a slightly more powerful sniper weapon or something like that. So they would pair the free to play people up against this and make it so that the person who bought the weapon would have a little bit more advantage. It honestly, it's a mental game. It's going to make the free to play player go, I want that, and then be more inclined to buy a couple dollars worth of money because they want to be, like the person who just beat them, or different things like that incentivize people to go ahead and spend the little bit extra.
On the flip side, he paid to be able to beat me. Screw this game, I'm out.
Yeah,
There's also going to be people that do that.
I think that
I'm not saying it's going to be the majority. It probably won't even be the majority.
anytime
But there's going to be a lot of people that'll do
Anytime.
that too.
pay to win starts sounding like a thing that usually signals death for a game. There's very few games where that works. in the long run. But I'm pretty sure if Blizzard is involved in this, they won't let it get that far.
I don't think it would ever come to WoW, but
If it's pure cosmetics, I have no problem.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Here's my money. Here's your money. Oh, that looks awesome. How'd you get that? Oh, it's over on the store. Oh, how much is it? $15 for a hat? That's ridiculous. Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Only in most people's case, $15 for no. Screw that.
So
Unless you're Dairies and you bought like 12 of them because you didn't know they were account bound.
wait, what?
I didn't know he did that. I knew he had all three. I didn't know that he bought multiple.
He bought multiples for multiple characters.
Oh boy.
That's I don't even know what to
no
say.
refund. No refund.
So,
It shouldn't let you buy it if you already have more than if you already have one. The button should be grayed out.
But was it for your whole account when they first happened, or was it?
I think
I
they
don't
were.
remember. I don't remember. All right. So while we're on the subject of money, there's another money thing going on, and that is this Future 50 thing. So you may have heard the term Fortune 500, which Fortune magazine puts out several different lists of different companies from all over the world, and these lists have to do with different things. Blizzard was actually honored to be on one of their lists, according to their tweet, which was for the Fortune Future 50 list, that they were actually number 9 in. This is the top 10 on the screen here. This list is actually the top 25 leaders and the top 25 in growth. So it's a pretty big list for them to be on. It's ranking companies that are best positioned for breakout growth, which means they're going to get a lot of new investors, most likely because of this, that weren't really looking at them yet. It is not the main Fortune 500 list. I don't know if they've cracked the top 25 or 50 of that one yet. I'm sure they're in the top 500, but this one is the one that people look at when they're trying to figure out where they want to put some money. So it's pretty neat.
That is pretty
Yeah.
neat.
So, like you said, Blizzard's number 9. Just as an example, as you can see on the screen here, Facebook 3 and Netflix 4.
Yep.
They didn't give us numbers for, what each one they're expecting or current in and all that, which I don't blame them on.
Yeah.
But still, top 10. Ooh.
Yeah. And this is also, it's got some qualifiers like companies with a market value above 20 billion. And then companies with a market value below 20 billion for the challengers. So it's like there's some qualifiers on these lists. So it doesn't rank them to be number 9 out of all the companies in the world, other than for this specific list. But it's still pretty cool to see them there for sure. And the funny thing is, a couple of the people that I work with who are really big on like stocks and things like that got super excited about this and started asking me all kinds of questions about Blizzard, which I thought was funny.
Really? That's kind of
Yes.
cool.
Yes. So
And
moving.
your reply was, they make money. Give
Yes.
them your money.
Well, I was like, well, if you're gonna buy it, probably not a bad time right now. I'm just saying, BlizzCon and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, I am not a financial advisor. Do not take my advice unless you want to lose your money. Next up, Zenyatta is coming to StarCraft.
Sort of.
It was a custom build, and we actually have to thank Alessandra for sending us this because I wouldn't have
Yes.
found it otherwise. Someone literally built Zenyatta in the StarCraft engine and threw him in the game to work pretty much exactly like he would in Overwatch, except not in first person.
Interesting. So is this something that people can actively download and play, or was this just something somebody was showing off?
It was something somebody was showing off. You remember they made the StarCraft engine available to everybody?
Yes.
So I think it was using that technology or whatever that's called, and they just built it.
Gotcha. Well, if enough people get interested in it, that's usually when Blizzard starts doing crazy stuff, and we'll see if something like that happens in BlizzCon shortly.
Yeah. What this actually tells me is there's a good chance we're going to see Zenyatta in Heroes because they use the StarCraft engine in the game.
Interesting. Well, that would totally
And
make
if
sense.
one person did this, Imagine what a whole team could do.
That would be kind of
That's
cool.
true. So you suppose this person will soon be working for Blizzard?
Who says they're not already?
Exactly. All right, we are just blazing through some news here. Next up, we have got stuff that you can buy, even if you don't have a virtual ticket. Draven can buy all of this now anyway. But if you did not buy the virtual ticket, the BlizzCon shop is now open to everyone, so you can come partake in your backpacks and all your other stuff if you would like.
I want so many things.
I'm kind of surprised they're not out of stock on more items. They still have the majority of things. So if you're interested, there's some pretty cool stuff. I'm still hesitating on this backpack thing because I probably will never use that backpack. I like the
don't buy
idea
it.
of it. I know, but yeah, that's why I'm hesitating.
So I think they got really a lot smarter than in the past, where they're like, we'll just make this many, and when we sell out, we'll just get more later. Maybe. I think this year they were like, what's going to sell a lot?
Yep.
Those Murloc onesies. Okay, we want a ton of those.
Yeah.
What's going to sell a lot? The whatevers. Okay, let's get a lot of those. And then even if they have extras, they can just be put on the regular store.
So, did you guys buy anything yet from the BlizzCon shop?
So about that, I'm broke at the moment. So no, I didn't buy anything. I saw some stuff. I was like, ooh, that would be really cool. And then I look at my wallet and I saw cobwebs, and I was like, aw.
Yeah.
I can't see that suitcase there. That's all I can take with me. So there's no point in buying more stuff that
Just-
probably won't fit in the
Just
suitcase.
Ship it to your new home. Just ship it over.
I thought
over
about
there.
that, but I still got to pay the taxes on the stuff, and I don't want to do that yet. But when I move, I plan on going on a Blizzard shopping spree because, I have Hearthstone glasses, and I have to leave those behind.
Mm.
I really hope they're still in the store. So, because there's just no room to take glasses in a backpack in a suitcase full of books, primarily.
Yeah.
They just arrive smashed. So I plan on doing a shopping trip once I move. Hopefully the store stuff is still there.
Well,
We shall see.
Scarlett, you do know that you know a couple people who might be able to help with shipping. Like if you would to package them up and ship them to someone, they could ship them to you, or you could.
I
Take
would
'em
still
to the
have to pay the
UPS.
tax. I would still have to pay the taxes, the duty on it. It's the duty
Well, then
that's
just
annoying.
Put them in a box and
Just
ship them,
ship 'em to
straight
yourself.
to.
Yeah. Like a lot of people.
So like if I get a present, like if I get a parcel from the States, even if it is a present, if it's bringing a certain value over, you have to pay duty and taxes on it.
You're not shipping it to the States. You're shipping it to yourself.
If I ship it from the States to me, but if I shipped
you're-
it to,
you're in-
but if I
you're in-
shipped it to,
You're already in Canada, and if you send it to another part of Canada, you don't have
So-
to pay that.
You from where you are now to you where you're going.
oh, I see what you mean. No,
Yeah, just ship it to
it would. Do you know how much that would cost? A lot. Just trust me, it's not.
Okay.
Probably less
So-
than buying brand new
That's what I was
stuff with the
thinking.
Exact same thing.
Well, let me
No.
just say this. A lot of people have been talking about the folks that are traveling to BlizzCon this year and how they need to bring an extra suitcase and extra blah, 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 and an empty roll tube so they can put their posters in. No, none of that. On the day after BlizzCon's over, before you go to Disney or whatever the hell you're planning on doing, before you fly out, you go to the UPS store or the FedEx store and you ship all of that stuff to yourself so you don't have to fool with it while you're on the airplane. Which in the States, shipping a relatively heavy box across the country is like $20. So
What?
Yeah,
No.
you can
It's-
UPS a heavy box in the United States about $20 for real. And if you want to go super cheap, you can do U.S. mail for $3.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Cheap.
Yes. It's not expensive unless you want it there the next day, and then it's expensive.
So
Yeah,
I
just mark everything fragile. You're good to go.
Yeah.
I shipped a Christmas present once. It was legit a comic book and some pens. Cost me $50 to ship that across the country.
Yeah, here it'd be like $3.
So
Unless you
imagine
needed
what
it
a
tomorrow, and then
box
it'd be
of
like
stuff
15.
would imagine what a box of stuff would cost me. It's crazy.
You and your silly Canadians.
I know.
Well, I think we're about ready to talk about some WoW stuff. You ready for some WoW stuff?
Yes.
World of Warcraft.
So yeah, there's this cool thing on the background downloader for 7.3.2 that's already downloading, and then there's this other cool thing that completely and totally overshadowed it, which was the 8.0 beta build being on the PTR servers. What?
For
Which
all of
got
about
removed.
10 minutes,
Yeah.
Yes.
it showed up, and then oh crap!
Whoops.
My thought on this is that there is a good chance that that was very, very short-lived because it's something to do with BlizzCon. Like they're gonna have it at BlizzCon on all those hundreds of WoW machines for people to play on that everybody remarked about on the map. And then they needed to make sure it worked real quick, so they put it up and took it down.
That could have been. Because you
it'll-
wouldn't think they would slip that much of a big.
Well, okay,
Oopsie.
so at
Like-
this point, I think pretty much everyone is looking at it like expansion,
Yeah, if they
and
don't-
this doesn't give away anything other than probably expansion.
Yeah, right.
So that showing up is just more of a saying we have an expansion. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, it doesn't tell us what it is or anything like that. It wasn't. No one got in, as far as I know.
Yeah, and I don't think there
No,
was any
they-
data mining. So
There wasn't data mining, and there wasn't anything available for people to do. It was just like, hey, this is up, this is down.
yeah, which is why I'm thinking they were testing like one thing, or they needed to move it from server to server, so it very, very quickly
I think they
moved.
transferred it to the wrong. Like I know they have their internal builds and all that. I think they accidentally hit PTR and go, and then oh crap, no, revert.
It's very possible. It's very possible that's what happened. They meant to
Could have
move
been.
it to the BlizzCon servers and moved it to the PTR server instead. But even still, that might just be another way for them to make even more hype for BlizzCon. However, if they come out now on BlizzCon and they don't have an expansion announcement, people are going to be upset. They better have something else of a real bombshell to drop if that's what they're going to do. Because I know I'd be mad at this point if it didn't talk about an expansion.
I have a theory about that, but I don't know. Are we doing BlizzCon
I have a theory
predictions?
too.
Funny. Are we doing BlizzCon predictions to this week or next week?
It's gonna be pretty much an entire show, or at least
Okay.
half of a show. So I mean, we could. We're actually really good on time. So it's up to you guys if you want to do it. But I figured we'd run into some esports. Like, hey, this is some stuff. If we had time, but it's up to you guys.
Well, Helen called it. 100%.
Of course.
He let us know.
But here's my prediction. I think the secret project that they've been talking about and all these people have been going to is not a new game. I have realized, I think we're going to go to a new game engine. I think with the graphics changes that they've been doing and all that stuff, I think it's time for a new updated WoW engine, and it'll tie into the expansion, where like instead of having a Cataclysm where the world needs to be remade, it'll be a new game engine, and that's tying into the new expansion.
I definitely would say that that's plausible. However, that's an awful lot of work to go back and refit everything that's already there onto a new engine. At least, unless they figured out a way to do it easier.
Well, but think about it. Like, why are there so many of the old, like, Warcraft devs and stuff? It doesn't make sense if it was just the RTS Warcraft 4 that they were bringing out. Like, RTS isn't that big anymore. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know, it's not their bread and butter. So there's got to be a reason why, and it wouldn't be a second WoW. I don't think we would have WoW 1, WoW 2 like other MMOs had, because that usually means the dying off of the first one. So
And the second one never working out anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let's kill
So-
both games.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like nothing like so I honestly think it's a new game engine.
The only thing that I would say doesn't really match up with that is if they were going to do that, I don't know if they would call it 8.0. Just internally. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
I think
That's true.
I think internally the name for it would probably be like WoW 2 or something.
Unless it's both. The expansion.
WoW 2 8.0.
No, not WoW 2. 8.0 is the new engine. Like, you have to, they're going to send it to you early and be like, hey, we're going to be switching over to this new engine, which is why we can no longer support Windows XP and anything before Windows 7, et cetera, and so forth.
Interesting. Maybe. That would be
It's-
pretty
it's
big. I don't know if
Possible. I don't think that's what's going to happen, though.
the rest of 8.0 would have to be I don't know, attention grabbing enough to keep people happy though. Like a new engine would be very neat for a lot of players. It would also scare a lot of players that are playing on potatoes. But I don't
It
know if
would
that's
scare
enough.
me if I was keeping this potato, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
But I'm not keeping this potato. This potato literally has a month left as of today.
I don't know. That would be cool. That's a good theory. But
A theory. Ha ha, I see what you
one,
did
one
there.
of us needed one.
yeah, I'm not a good theory.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it's just going to be an expansion. What that expansion will be, I, of course, have my ideas,
Theories.
but we'll get into that when we get into our predictions, which will probably be next week. Yep, you had one too.
All right. So, the background download for 7.32 makes total sense because we all pretty much think it's happening relatively soon and then shortly thereafter, if not on the same day. And Taurus will probably be coming out. Draven's counting. He needs to take his shoes off.
7th, November 7th.
7th. Okay, November 7th, which is the weekend after BlizzCon. The only problem I would have with November 7th, which I think that's the right date if you want to build hype about it. The only problem with that is 90% of your workforce is all at BlizzCon when they should be preparing to launch the patch. So unless
It's ready. I think it's
if
ready outside of raid.
then-
Outside of
yeah.
raid testing, I think it's ready.
Cool. In that case,
So-
then that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if that does happen, I'm gonna bet Taurus doesn't come out for a week after it, and then Mythic the week after that. But anyway, because there
That
is
if you went with your dates, that would mean for the U.S. people, Thanksgiving would happen during the Mythic race. 100%. Which is why I'm thinking it's going to be either the 7th or the 21st. But the 7th makes more sense because that's the 77 days.
But what you're missing there is that if the raid is similar in difficulty to the previous one, they will still be Mythic racing during Thanksgiving. If your dates are correct, my feeling
Yeah.
is that the Mythic will come out the week after Thanksgiving, that the regular raid comes out Thanksgiving week, and then the Mythic one comes out the week after. Because if you wait too much longer, then you're running into the Christmas holiday time, New Year holiday time, and that's worse for most people, because
Yeah.
the majority of people that play WoW, believe it or not, are not in the United States and don't necessarily celebrate Thanksgiving on the same time that we do, a la Canada Day. So it only matters for a, albeit large but small chunk of your player base if something comes out on Thanksgiving week. But I can see people being up in arms about it if it does happen that way. But I guess we will see.
I just think that it's a really cool idea that I know Hearthstone did this not too many years ago, and I think WoW is going to be doing it this year.
Yeah.
And by the way, it comes out later this year. And by later this year, we mean later this month. And by that, we mean this Tuesday.
Yeah, they may do another one of those. Yeah.
That did not go over so well for Hearthstone though, because people needed to save up gold and stuff.
No, they didn't. They could just buy it.
People knew. Yeah, it was something you bought. But
If they have an option
people
for you to
knew
buy
it
it,
was
they're not gonna
coming.
care
That was the
about
thing.
giving
They
you
didn't
time.
know exactly. They didn't know exactly what or when or anything like that. But it was time. It same as this. It's time. People know when it doesn't take a whole rocket scientist to figure out. Okay, it's a roughly about this time, and with WoW schedule this year, this expansion, 77 days has been something almost every time.
So, did you hear the rumor about 8.0 being the South Seas?
I have heard that rumor.
And the other big rumor is the Void Lords. So, what other big rumors like that have you heard so far? Those are the main two I've heard.
I mean, those are the main two that's always been outside of. Oh, it's Ashara, it's Emerald Dream and Emerald Nightmare, and we got those this expansion kind of.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm expecting something void heavy, but I would not be surprised if we had another. I'm going to call it Mists of Pandaria, where it's not exactly it's go from Legion to boom, next big bad. It's going to be more of a kind of a lull, not a lull, but a calm before the storm again.
So
I want that.
Well, there's a lot of people calling out for more of an exploration expansion again, similar to Mists. So you're not alone in that if that's something that you want. But I have a feeling if it is going to be South Seas, that would totally tie in with Naga Race if they're going to go that way. If it's going to be Void Lords, then it'll be extended races like the Mechanomes, for example, and the Dark Iron Dwarfs and all the other ones.
I would not be surprised for the extended races, the sub races, for a few. But I also, if it's Void, I would not be surprised if Ethereal is allowed. Just because they did get the new models.
That would make sense, but they could do the Ethereal since they're pretty much already in game and not a real problem to try to figure out what kind of gear is going to be since they don't really have any. And then...
Oh my goodness, a naked race. That would be amazing. We should do it.
So I totally think they could do Ethereals and sub races at the same time, and it would make sense. Where with Naga, because of the fact that the upper torso does actually have gear, it would be a lot more work to actually make all that gear fit and everything on the Nagas. I feel like if they're going to do the Nagas, they're probably going to be the only race that comes out. But a South Seas expansion completely fits adding Nagas.
I don't see Nagas ever happening because last time they added like new races and stuff, like with the pandas, they had to go back and fix all the gear because it didn't fit right.
Right.
It still doesn't fit male
still doesn't.
A lot of
pandas.
a lot of them don't still, but with Nagas, none of the pants gonna look right outside of maybe some of the skirts.
I just think it won't be
shoes,
visible. It just won't be visible.
Yeah, shoes aren't gonna fit at all.
Well, the thing with shoes, if you look
Trolls
at
don't wear them.
number one, number two, if you look at like Draenei, they have hoofs, so the shoe is literally just a graphic around the ankle of their hoof. So like you don't even really see it. It's just like a splash of color for the shoe. So like, and they could totally on Nagas just not show them at all. So the belt is the bottom piece, other than like a tabard. So
The shoe goes on the tail. It just looks
Yeah.
like a little
it's just
rattler, like a.
it's a little ring on the tail at the very end.
That would be so bizarre.
Yeah. So speaking of bizarre, this week was also Black Temple Time Walking.
I was going to say Dark Moon Fair was a while ago.
That's a different bazaar.
Mhm.
But yeah, did you guys do it this week again?
I haven't done any time walking.
I
Not
haven't
even the
gotten-
dungeons.
I haven't been able to do time walking yet either. I plan on it, but I got what I wanted out of it. I went through it as in level on multiple characters even. I got my Warglaives of Azeroth transmog thing. I'm good. I'm not saying I'm never going to go back because there was some pretty cool items in there that would be really nice at a high level, but unless they Titan Forge, they're not any good to me.
Yeah, at this point, 900 gear is not that usable. So unless you get lucky with a Titan Forge, I agree. If you've already gotten your transmog and you've gotten your achievement for doing it, there's not a whole lot of reason to go back. However, did you guys do your time walking dungeons this week?
Not
I
yet.
haven't done any
I haven't
at
had
all.
a chance. Every time I'm like, oh, I'm going to go do that. And then I get a phone call or something happens and I'm like,
Yeah, it's again kind of the same thing. The loot from it is normal gear, I believe, right? Normal gear from TOS.
It's
Well, the-
900 gear from
yeah,
time
it's,
walking,
it's,
isn't
it's,
it?
yeah, it's normal from TOS. But the main reason I do it is that free extra roll.
Yeah, I mean that is really the reason to do it. And I think I don't know, I might be wrong. I want to say you get some AP, not AP, but order hall resources that everybody has a bajillion of right now. But I may be imagining that.
Who has a bajillion order resources? I don't.
I
I'm
do.
always starved for those.
It's because you don't use a follower with the follower perk that gives you
True
100
point.
every time you do a world quest.
I don't do World Quest much.
So all
either.
right. So let me let you in on a secret about this because I know you like to keep your meatball to do your quests or whatever, but they have 3 slots once they're legendary. So you can put the legendary item that lets you get 100 resources and 50 gold in one slot. You can put the epic item that lets you get 100 resources, and then you can put the epic item that gives you 100 gold. So you're getting like 150 gold and 150 resources every time you do a world quest.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so literally if you do your actual emissaries, you never run out of order hall resources. So you should think about doing that.
I should
My-
probably do that.
My main character, as of last night, had 586,000 order hall resources.
I don't have that many, but most of my
You should
main
turn those
characters
into
have at
bloods.
least 50,000. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean the ones that are I'm just starting to work on, like my DK, which by the way is named End Theory now. It actually didn't have hardly any, so I'm having to do quests in order to build it up. But I already have a bodyguard that gives me 100 extra every time I do a world quest. So, boom. But anyway, yes, I also have not done my regular time walking dungeons yet. I've got at least 2 or 3 tunes that I need to do it on.
Post show plans, yay!
Yeah, maybe. I think that covers most of the stuff that was in the notes, Draven. What else did you want to talk about this week?
Well, we pushed the esports and predictions stuff last week. I think we should just do a show of predictions by itself, which will probably be next week because I think this week's going to be a little light on news
Agreed.
because it is the pre-BlizzCon week. I don't think
Agreed.
they're not gonna give us a whole lot of info.
So, and then the other question that I have for you and for our viewers, since we're doing our shows either on Fridays or Saturdays for the last couple of months, are we going to do a show while BlizzCon is live?
If we do a show, I would say that one will be Saturday night,
Okay.
just because that way we can actually cover all of
pretty much be
BlizzCon.
after it. And then
Yeah.
maybe we could have Muse playing while we talk about it or something, since you guys don't like Muse and don't understand good music.
My only issue with that is gonna be the whole copyright thing.
Nah, copyright, schmoppyright. Anyway, all right. How about you, Scarlett? Got any Hearthstone stuff that we forgot to talk about that you want to let Galv know about, since he's the only one that cares besides you?
You guys should go to a tavern brawl. I mean, to a fireside gathering. You guys should really do it. It was really fun. And you know what? It was not filled with, like, kids. It was all adults. Like, normal people who go to a bar kind of people. Actually, there was like an old lady with her walker. It was kind of adorable. I don't know if she was playing though. I think she just came with somebody, but it was still cute to see her there. Yeah, you guys should just.
Was her device, her iPad, her tablet, whatever, mounted to her walker?
No.
Because if that would have been the case, that would have been amazing.
Someone else was carrying it. Someone else was carrying it.
I'm not adverse to different ages when I go play games. I'm adverse to Hearthstone.
No, but I just was saying in general, it surprised me how many like adults were there. I thought I was going to be like the oldest person, but I wasn't.
So, Hallen just said he thinks we should do a BlizzCon show because I agree, Hallen. I think you're right. What night is the CTR podcast though? Is that
Friday?
Saturday? That's Friday. Okay, cool.
So I was thinking Saturday, no matter what, for BlizzCon if we did a show that night, that weekend, just because that way we could cover all of it.
Well, I do think that's a good
Or
idea for
both.
another reason because that Friday is an iPhone launch. Pardon me, iPhone 10 comes out that day. So, you know, things.
So,
Yeah, but no one in their right mind wants one of those. So
That's a lot of no ones.
that is a lot of no ones.
A lot
it was
of no
a
ones.
joke. It was a joke.
Yeah.
You're allowed to like whichever version of phone you like. There are some better than others. iPhone and the Galaxies and some of the other ones are the top ends.
You can just
And then
not
you
listen
have-
to what he's saying right now. It doesn't matter.
And then you have all the lower quality phones that are like, I wouldn't pay you a dime for that, let alone the $100 you're asking for it. But
All right.
iPhones are among the better phones, along with, I have a Galaxy. I know you like your iPhones. You're allowed. I think you're wrong, but you're allowed.
All right, so with that, we're going to tell you how you can reach out and tell Draven that he's full of crap when it comes to phones. That's right. This is how you can contact us. So at Epic Fail Podcast, we do love it when you contact us. So here's the ways that you can do that. We are at www.epicfailpodcast.com. On Facebook, you can find us at /podcastepicfail. Twitter is at podcastepicfail. You can follow Draven at Draven Dresden on Twitter. You can follow Scarlett at Scarlett_CTR. And you can follow me, Theory, at Gank Theory, also on Twitter. Don't forget, you can find our podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. We look forward to hearing from you. I almost forgot to turn my sound up. That was almost the second one. Anyway. All right.
Fail.
You guys ready for some shouty outs of shout? All right. We're going to let Scarlett go first. Scarlett, what you got?
Yes. I want to shout out to the Toronto Hearthstone team place that I went to today and I totally forgot their name of. But they're called the Toronto Hearthstone team, which is
It's
original.
the Toronto Hearthstone Guild.
Right. Close. Team, guild, same thing. That was a really cool event. And it was a lot easier than I thought. The one important thing to note is you have to be on their Wi-Fi in order to connect. So if you go to a tavern brawl, like fireside gathering, you have to connect to the local Wi-Fi. That's how the game knows you're actually there. But yeah, no, I just want to shout out to them. And that's the cat that's howling in the background, That's my shout outs.
Well, it's, they had to make up for the dog. My dogs have been talking a lot, so we had to even it out. Draven?
I think my shout out, I'm just going to, I did it earlier, the Kyle Ferguson with his stream and his codes. Actually being able to watch BlizzCon now because of it. So, I mean, I would have got it after, but this way I can actually watch it live, so I can actually have input for our show that week. That helps too. So yeah, that's going to be my non whatever non-show related shout out will be to that. Normal shout outs, obviously, the chat room and anyone listening, all that fun stuff. Theory. Someone told me you have shout outs.
That's me. I have to keep looking over to see if I turn myself down or not. I don't know if you noticed that. If you see me going like this, it's because the volume thing is over there. I need to move it over here. Hello, dogs. Shout outs for this week. Let's see. I'm going to shout out the raid teams that I haven't been raiding with. I appreciate you. And I wish that we raided earlier so I can still raid. Other than that, I am going to shout out, I'm going to say Norman. Thanks, Norman. You are appreciated. And
Norman is awesome.
Norman's friend who lets Norman appreciate us. Thank you. And Draven is apparently just situating. I thought he was showing all of us his shirt because he started to stand up and he's got a cool shirt on, but then he sat back down.
He wants to shout out to Deadpool.
It's such a cool shirt. If you're not watching the video, you don't get to see what cool Deadpool shirt he has on. But anyway, so yeah. How many times I think we've shouted out Norman / Des? Like, I know I have a lot. There's another Deadpool. All right. Here. Your camera doesn't focus on the Deadpool. Nope. No luck. Nope. It's a blurry Deadpool, and he's holding up a sign. All right.
He is.
Give up on the blurry sign. All right. Any last words?
Kitty.
Wait. Des just said Norman's deaf.
What?
Des said Norman is deaf.
What?
I thought she said he was dead, but that goes with the not reading very much thing. So she said deaf. Why is he
deaf.
Why is he deaf? I don't anyway.
He can't hear you to answer that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the late night podcasting. The late night podcasting, Des, and we were about to end the show, but you asked, so I'm going to answer this one. Mainly because of my new job. Same reason that I'm not able to raid as late as I was. Saturdays we could go a little bit later, but we've been going a little bit earlier, number one, because I get tired, and number two, because we can on Saturday night. Right now, all three of us don't have to do it at midnight, which is kind of nice. But it's on one hand, it's kind of a test, and on the other hand, it's kind of placating for me because I have to work early in the morning during the week. But I don't on Sundays.
Yeah, now BlizzCon weekend will probably be a little bit later just because of BlizzCon.
Yeah.
But otherwise...
Yeah, because doesn't the post, like their concert on Saturday run to like 10 p.m. or so?
I think so. I think the last one may have even gone later than that, like 10:30 or 11.
Yeah, we'll probably go around 10 o'clock or so just to make sure that it's just the concert, and then that's it. I mean, if Theory decides he wants to watch the entire thing, we'll wait until after it's over. But,
well, Flashgoth in the chat actually said something. If I'm watching the live stream and that's playing in the background, it's actually not a copyright infringement thing for Twitch. It may end up being for YouTube, but I know it's not for Twitch. That's totally fine to be playing a podcast from WoW in the background. People do that all the time. But I can understand the desire not to want to have to catch a copyright infringement hit on YouTube. Anyway, we should probably wrap this thing up. So I heard kitties. Was that the last word? Do we have a different... What's our last word?
Norman!
Okay, bye. Hello, mother.
You know, the world could always use more heroes.